But hope everyone's doing well. We're gonna stop the lo-fi right there. I don't know, maybe we should have it going. I could add to it. Could potentially just turn it right down. Exactly where we're up to, which is coincidental. Alright. Not sure if people come through or not, that's fine. It is nice to just, sit here and actually scream. Shit going on. I do have a wanted to make the impact, but wasn't willing to pay the price for it. After the conversation, Layla and I went building brands. I have a core belief I'd like to transfer to you. If someone is making more money than you, they are better at the game or the business in some way. Take it as good news. It means you can learn from them. Don't think they had it easy. Don't think they had a shortcut. Don't tell yourself they broke some moral code. Even if it's true, none of those beliefs serve you. None of those beliefs make you better. That is fucking very true. So many people get in the way of their own fucking ego. Like, ego is always the core of people's thoughts. And it could be also the thing that takes you in the furthest. It just depends how you use it. Years ago, I was vocal about making content. I didn't say at any point, why would I waste my time making something that would disappear in a few days. I thought it was a stupid waste of time to let everyone know. I was wrong. I don't know if I should have just might just move it out of I thought it was a stupid waste of time. I was wrong. It really wasn't about the content at all. It was about the audience. What I didn't understand was the content you create. Page. Isn't the compounding asset, the audience is. That's interesting. So even though the content may disappear in time, your audience keeps growing. This was a lesson my ego prevented me from learning for too long. It took an entire year of getting hit in the face with solid evidence before I changed my ways. Building an audience is the most valuable thing I have ever done. I saw college Huda, Carton, Conor McGregor, and The Rock become billionaires overnight. My famous friend said a massive audience was crucial to his success. The overwhelming audience broke my beliefs, so I rewrote them. I now saw the power of having an audience, but I didn't know where to start. So I did what I always do. I paid for knowledge. Buying somebody else's experience saves the time it would take to figure everything out yourself. Very true. Layla bought me four calls with a big influencer who had the type of audience I wanted. She paid $120,000. My first call, he told me that to post regularly on every platform. So that's what I did. 12 months later, my audience grew by more than 200,000 people. On my second call, he noted the progress, but I wanted more. Do you have a blueprint for your personal brand? How do you put out all that content? Now, this is very controversial, but I feel like there is clip that. There's been a lot on my plate, put it that way. He said, bro, anyone telling you posting free content means you have a constantly growing audience of people more likely to buy your stuff. Free content makes all other advertising more effective. If you reach out to someone and they can't find content related to your service, they're less likely to buy. On the other hand, if they buy lots of valuable content, they are more likely to buy. If they find lots of, this is what my ego prevented me from learning. Now the headlines with Jenner, Huda, McGregor, and The Rock all make perfect sense. Because they are influencers, they influence people to fucking do that. It doesn't make no sense. But posting free content is not all sunshine and rainbows, no shit. It has its trade-offs. First, it was more difficult to personalize your message, so fewer people respond. Second, you compete with everyone else posting free content. This makes it harder to stand out. Third, if you do stand out, people will copy you. This means you need to consistently innovate. That being said, a bigger audience means more engaged leads. More engaged leads means more money. More money means you more happy. Just kidding, it won't do that. But it will give you the resources to remove stuff you hate anyways. This chapter covers only 2 topics. First, we demystify, I don't know how to say that word, audience growing content by showing it's all made of the same basic units. The content has 3 components: hook, retain, and reward. Second, how linking basic units together will make audience growing content for any platform or media type. The next chapter, Post Free Content Part 2, shows you how to weaponize this content that makes money. But for now, you can monetize content until you know how to make it. I feel like I see where this is going already, and I've had ideas, but I haven't yet executed on them. And maybe that's where a lot of my... I don't know, mate, you know, like, there's so many cunts in the game. Well, I should not say that on YouTube, but anyways, there's so many people in the game where, you know, they're doing way better than me. They've been doing for the same amount of time, or a bit less, or a bit more. But these are all people that are doing instant gratification rewards, like pump money in ads. They got money to spend on ads, they put money in ads, and they don't do much else with that. They just hit them up constantly every time I have a post, and they're like, go like my shit, whatever it is. That's not sustainable. I feel like in me trying so many different things and learning this, people aren't learning this outside of what I am. Like, this is a very common book. He's a very well-known man. But I mean, in Australia, doing music right now, I feel like there's people that have read it, but a good majority absolutely not. Like, I feel like in me taking a different route, I've found this. It's taken me longer to get to this point, but it's what will take me further. Like, these people are not doing stuff that is sustainable. This will keep me, grow me, like, exponentially. Like, they're limited to a certain point. They put money in ads, the instant gratification, now they've lost love for what they're doing. That's completely off topic, but I want to keep reading. All audience growing content does one thing: it rewards the people consuming it. And a person can only get rewarded by the content if they have a reason to consume it, pay attention long enough to get that reason satisfied. Thankfully, we can reverse those 3 outcomes into 3 things we have to do to make our own audience growing content. This means we have to hook attention, get them to notice your content, retain attention, get them to consume it, reward attention, satisfy the reason they consumed it to begin with. The smallest amount of material it takes to hook, retain, and reward attention is a content unit. It could be as little as an image, a meme, or a sentence, meaning you can hook, retain, and reward at the same time. This is how short tweets, memes, images, or even a jingle can go viral. They do all 3. I separate them so we can discuss them more clearly, but they can all happen at once. Let's dive into each of those things we can do to create a content unit. This way you can create effective content that grows your audience. Number 1, hook. They cannot be rewarded unless you first get their attention. I feel like this book's older, and that's a very common thing to know. But maybe I've been missing the retain and reward parts, potentially. All the hooks haven't been strong enough. I don't know. Anyways, the objective. We give them a reason to redirect their attention from whether they are they are doing towards us. If we do that, we've hooked them. The effectiveness of your hook is measured by the percentage of people who started consuming your content. So if you hook attention well, maybe people will have a reason to consume your content. If you do a poor job, a few people will have a reason to consume your content. Remember, this is a competition for attention. We have to beat every alternative they have to win theirs. Yeah. Make yourself the best option. We increase the percentage of people who picked our content by picking topics they find interesting, headlines that give them a reason, and matching the format of other stuff they like. Let's dive into each. We increase the percentage of people who pick our content consuming and find they're interested in topics. Topics are the things that make your content, things you make your content about. I prefer to use personal experiences. Here's why. There's only one of you. The easiest way to differentiate is to say something that no one else can say. And no one else has lived your life but you. I divide topics into 5 categories: far past, recent past, present, trending, and faction. Interesting. Didn't expect that. Far past. The important past lessons in your life. Sorry, I reread. Past. Far past. The important past lessons in your life. Connect that wisdom to your product or service to provide huge value to your audience. Give them the story without the scar. It's why I write these hooks. Example. Personal lesson where I broke my belief that I don't have enough time. Hook. I complained to a friend that I didn't have enough time to do something while glued to my phone. Retain. They yanked it out of my hands and looked at its usage. It showed I spent 3 hours per day on social media. Or they looked back at me and said, hey, I found you some time. Interesting. It's a simple story other people can relate to. This makes it an interesting topic to more people, and it connects what I do growing businesses to a struggle many people experience, not having enough time. This epiphany I give away makes a lesson valuable for my audience, people starting, growing, and selling their businesses. Recent past. Use stuff they then talk about what you did or what happened. Anytime you speak with somebody, there's a chance your audience can get value from it. Look at your calendar for the last week. Look at all your meetings. Look at all your social interactions. Look at all your conversations with warm reach outs. There's gold in these conversations. Tell stories from them that will serve your audience. For example, as a tweet that I posted in the past. As a marketing rule of thumb, if everyone else is doing it, don't do it. Fucking simple. Like it's twisted. In saying that, yeah, that's when I was talking about longevity, that's what's going to take you further. But you see so many people fucking this week came from a meeting. They had a portfolio CEO that was just copying the same offer everyone else in the market was making and was getting subpar results. This means taking notes, recordings, and other records to make that stuff easy to access. But it also means a free, easy, and valuable stash of content. Testimonials and case studies fall in this category. If you can tell a cool client story in a way that provides value to your audience, both promote your service and provide value to you. That's also a fucking interesting one. Like, all warm reaches I know. Conversation I make is stuff. Present, write down ideas at the exact same time they come to you. Always have a way to record your ideas in speech. I'll even pause meetings to make notes or text or email ideas to myself. People don't mind when you ask them to take notes anyways, so it's not weird. Then, when you make content, you have a bucket of fresh stories to work with. I know my ideas publicly. I used to keep ideas to myself. Now I tweet them publicly as they happen. If a post does better than normal, I know it's something people find interesting, then I make more stuff on that topic. That's also a fucking very interesting thing. And what I'm trying to do, like, try and be a lot more, let you in a lot more of what my brain process is, because otherwise it's just work, you see the end result and that's it. I don't want that. I want you guys to see the whole process. Trending. Go where the attention is. Look at what's trending right now and make stuff about it. Apply your own experiences to it. If If you have relevant commentary or it touches your experience in some way, talk about it. Talk about trendy stuff is very effective for gaining the attention of a broader audience. Also, I've noticed someone else is watching in the chat. There's 2 people. Hello. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're enjoying. Manufacture. Turn your ideas into reality. Pick a topic people find interesting. Then learn about it. Make it or do it. Then show it to the world. This costs the most time and effort since you have to create the experience versus talking about one you already have. But you can have the biggest payouts. Example manufacturing experience. I live on $100 for a month. Here's how. Now, I don't live that way, but I can manufacture experience and make content about it. Author note, manufacture versus manufactured content has the most potential to grow and monetize an audience by far. This is because skilled content creators can engineer the maximum reward for every content unit. To give you an idea, as of this writing, the top 10 videos on the most popular video platform are all music videos. They have racked up to 60 billion views. Fuck, that's ridiculous. Watching or listening, that's a lot of attention. But for us mortals, the lower cost of documenting our experience versus manufacturing them lets us keep the volume high. And I believe it's more sustainable for over a lifetime. Quote I heard from a famous content creator: I don't want to be filling my living room with sand when I'm 50. And personally, I'd rather see entrepreneurs put out more content more often. And in more places, just one man's 2 minutes. I don't understand. Just one man's 2 minutes. No, I think it's just action step. Life happens, profit by sharing yours. That's fucking smart. And again, that's what I'm trying to do, like document everything that's happening. I need to tap more into being creative about it and creating stories within that, because I feel like at times when I do all that I do, sometimes shit can be boring and it's not interesting to talk about. But I think maybe if I tap into making it interesting, being creative about it, definitely. Headlines. A headline is a short phrase or sentence used to grab the audience attention. It communicates the reason they should consume the content. They use it to weigh the likelihood that they will get a reward for consuming the content. Rather than give you a bunch of templates, I'd rather give you the timeless principles that make great headlines. There's no greater headline creator than me. So let's study. I think one of the homies that was talking about this book was actually this exact article. Trying to copy basic structure and TV trimming and stuff. Commercially, they've been doing it for a long time, and it's been working for a time. Just because we're creating content doesn't make it any different. It's the same shit. A meta-analysis of news revealed headline components that drove the most interest in stories. They are as follows. Try and include at least 2 in your headline. Recency. As recent as possible, quite literally the news. Example, people pay attention to something that happened an hour ago or a year ago. That's also an interesting take to be like, this just happened. Cool. Relevancy, personally meaningful. Example, nurses pay more attention to stuff that affects nurses compared to stuff that affects accountants. Fair. Celebrity, including prominent people, celebrities, authorities, etc. Normally we wouldn't care what another human has for breakfast every day, but if Jeff Bezos, we do. Since his celebrity, many people care. Proximity, close to home and geographically. My phone is running out of battery. Example, a house on fire across the country doesn't get your attention. If it's your neighborhood, it sure does. Make it as close as home as possible. Concept of opposing ideas, opposing people, nature, etc. Example, pineapple versus no pineapple, pizza. Example, good versus evil, hero versus villain, left versus right. Example, freedom versus security, justice versus mercy. You get the idea. That's a very controversial conflict sort of unusual, odd, unique, rare, bizarre. Example, think of words. All 4 images above are well images, but they have a different look and feel. This is because formatting depends on the audience you want to hook and the platform your audience is on. Bottom line, you've got to make your content look like what they expect will reward them. Interesting. Otherwise, no matter how good it is, better looking content will hook them before yours even has a chance. Action step. Format your content for the platform first. Then tweak it so it hooks your ideal audience. Use the best content on the platform that targets your audience, your market as your guide. This concludes the hook step of the content unit. Always following the basics will already put you in the top 1%. At least it has for me. That's an interesting way of like backwards engineering it too. You know, like make it fit for the platform first, and then tweak it based around the hook. So maybe you don't. I don't know. That's an interesting thing. Because what, do you not hook them? Do you not think of the hook first? Like, do you not try and hook them first? I don't know. That is interesting. Anyways, I don't know at what point I will have to put my phone on charge. So it's the camera I'm using right now. But hopefully I'll get another notification saying it's 10%, and then I'll sort it out. I don't want to rule the angle or anything right now. Retain. My favorite driver of retention is curiosity. It's my favorite because if done correctly, people will wait years. People want to know what happens next. For example, I get messages daily for years now about when I realized a book on sales. When I release a book on sales. Interesting. My favorite way to get the audience curious is to embedded. Fuck, some of these words are picking my head out. Is to embedded questions in their minds. Oh, embed. That's why I was like, what? Unresolved questions can be explicit or implicit. Bro, you guys can see how poor my reading skills are. Anyways, you can directly ask a question or the question can be implied. My 3 favorite ways to embed questions are list, steps, and stories. List of things, facts, tips, options, ideas, etc. Presented one after the other. Good list in free content also follow a theme. Think top 10 mistakes or 5 biggest money makers, so on. Giving the number of Giving the number of listed items in your headline or in the first few seconds of the content tells people what to expect. And in my experience, this retains more of the audience attention for longer. Example, 7 ways I invested $1,000 into my 20s that paid off big. Example, 28 ways to stay poor. Example, a content unit has 3 pieces. Steps are actions that occur in order to accomplish a goal when completed. Provided the early steps were clear and valuable, the person will want to know what to do with them. What the fuck, me? I can't read. Provided the early steps were clear and valuable, the person will want to know how to do them or to accomplish the overall goal. I don't know why I struggle with that sentence so much. Example, 3 steps to creating a great hook. Example, how I created headlines in 7 steps. Example, the morning routine that boosts my productivity. Note, here's the difference between steps and lists. Steps are actions that must be done in a specific order to get a result. So steps are less flexible, but have more explicit reward. Lists can have just about anything on them in order, in any order you want. So lists are more flexible, but have less explicit reward. Stories describe events, real imagery, and stories worth telling often have some lesson and takeaway for the listener. You can tell a story about things that have happened, might happen, or will happen. All 3 drive curiosity, but people stories, but the real question is it good? Does it satisfy the reason they watch to begin with? Does it make people want to share it? How good your content is depends on how often rewards your audience in the time it takes them to consume it. Think value per second. For example, the same person who gets bored 3 seconds into a 10-second video may also binge a 900-page book. And the same person may binge a television series for 8 hours straight. So there is no such thing as too long, only too long. That's also a good way of looking at it. Now, we can't guarantee a specific reward, but we can increase the chance rewards happen by hooking the right audience with proper topics, headlines, and formatting, retaining them with lists, steps, and stories to get them curious and watching more. Clearly satisfy the reason the content hooked them to begin with. For example, if your book promised 7 ways to make up with your spouse, and you give 4 ways, 7 ways that stung, or they've heard them before, you're talking in a room with single guys who don't have spouses, you did a bad job of rewarding. People will not want to watch again and certainly won't share it. That's also a good point. Like, if you start making shit content, people I'm actually learning a lot here. Example, if your hook promises 4 marketing strategies dentists can use and they can't use them, they will not share it or watch your content in the future. You did a bad job of rewarding. Bottom line, I've had tons of content I thought would smash records, but the audience smashed the next button instead. So no matter how good you think the content is, the audience decides. Rewarding an audience means matching or exceeding their expectations when they decide to consume your content. Here's how you know if you've succeeded. Your audience grows. If it's not growing, your stuff isn't that good. Fair enough. Practice and you'll get better. Action step. Provide more value than anyone else. Make good on your promises. Clearly satisfy the hook you use to get their attention. In other words, complete answer, resolve, and the unresolved questions embedded in their minds. So what's the difference between short and long form content? Answer, not much. If you recall from earlier, the smallest amount of material it takes to hook, retain, and reward attention is content units. So to create longer pieces of content, we sequence the content units together. For example, a single step in 5-step. For example, a single step in a 5-step list might be a content unit. When we link all 5 together, we have a long piece of content. Here's a visual to drive it home. Content unit, sure. It's just the back and forth of sort of like, here's a list of 5 things, blah blah blah. You explain it all, give them a reward. Okay, here's another 5 things, like something similar to that. That's what it looks like, right? Whereas in short form, it's just that one fucking 3 hook, retain, reward. Shorter content hooks, retains, rewards fewer times. Longer content does it more times. In doing it more times takes more skill because you have to string more good content units in a row. For example, a new comedian typically will go only a few minutes on stage before their bit. Only a master comic gets an hour. It takes practice to reward attention just often enough to keep it for that long. So start small, then build from there. Even if you start with longer content, which is fine, I suggest starting with shorter versions. You'll have an easier go of it. Many successful authors with epic length novels started by writing, you guessed it, short stories. That's also an interesting point because I've worked on my funnel for everything that I'm doing right now. And the funnel is the podcast. Maybe I'm not making them interesting enough. So even that's actually opened my mind a lot. It's like say I string those things together, and then the clips could be just those fucking content units instead of like having them just random, you know. Pro tip: make all your content for strangers. This is important. Pay attention. If you want to consider the alternative. You litter your content with inside jokes that no one gets besides your audience. Cool for you guys, but no one else will feel welcome. And your audience growth will slow down. This is one of the most common mistakes I see content creators make. You don't make it. So make every piece of content assuming the person has never heard of you before. Everyone who already knows you will appreciate it. Once you understand how to make content unique, all you have to do is more. Then your audience will grow, and once your audience grows big enough, you may want to monetize. I had too much to say in this one chapter, so I'll talk about how to monetize this in the next one. This is where the juicy shit happens. I just want to check. I don't know why on that it does that. I've got two pages running at the same time. It's friggin' frustrating. So I'm having to close my last page and how to open this thing. I don't know how to stop I think, to be honest, we'll cut it close to there. End it roughly there. It's been an hour. I didn't realise how long it's actually been. But we've read a chapter, which is good. I actually want to read more on the Thursday. I'm streaming again Thursday. I'm going to try and make these minimum Tuesday, Thursday streams. Last week I was going to stream on Monday, had my anniversary on Monday, and then I had my mum's birthday on last Thursday. Tuesday I was working on. Was that? No, I streamed it. I don't know. I can't remember. No, I did stream it for Tuesday. That's right, but it was not related to which is annoying, but that's going to happen from time to time. I'd even spoken to what's his face? I was speaking to Chef and came up with some great ideas of even starting to make more money outside of what I'm doing right now. Just try and make as much money as I possibly can. And you can probably hear a story of his partner's brother is fucking like on the road to $500 million, which is fucking ridiculous. And he was saying how he's in some sort of like robotics company, and he knows how to build robots from the ground up. He has his own business and shit, earning all his money. He only sees a family like once every 3 months, so like a wife and kids, which is fucking crazy. But his passion is to make samosas or something, and green tea. I think that's what it was, tea and samosas. He wants to open up a passion shop and he can hit his 500 mil mark. That's in revenue as well. And yeah, he sort of like went on the route of he wasn't working his passion to get where he was. He wants to build towards his passion, like he thinks they should be separate. He doesn't think that you should be monetizing your passion. And it's sort of opened mine a bit. I honestly don't want to do that. I want to be able to monetize my passion. I want to be able to do this full time. Do this in some way. Like I'm working for myself. I fucking love doing this shit. Like this compared to a 9 to 5, I love working for myself. There's parts of my day job I enjoy, but it's just too much stress that isn't needed stress. Like I can stress from this shit, and it's different because I actually enjoy doing this more, you know. And I feel like if I had more time for this, I can pump more into this and make it like grow exponentially. I think on the plan I have at the moment, that's still possible to even working in 9 to 5. And it's not even. I don't even work 40 hours. Most of the time, it's like 50-hour weeks minimum. I work more than that, you know. But yeah, that will be good. So I said that's where I was getting to. I listened to that a bit. I'm earning a bit of extra cash on the side now, which will help me a bit. And I also thought about it this way, right? So I've had a deal with Sheffield for 2 years now, and my contract for this year is running up. It'll be up at the end of the year. And I thought about it when I moved out. I was like, worst case scenario, I'm paying X amount to them. I'll just cancel that subscription. I don't want to anymore because the value I get out of them. It's not even about them, it's the actual value of the conversation and surroundings I get. And even learning more about this money and stuff, I was like, I thought about it more. I was like, you know what? Maybe it would be a good idea. It's such a shit loss because it's an investment, but I'll never get where I want to get. Like, I'm going to save so much money positionally right now because of what I've been through. If I wasn't in that deal, but at the same time I thought of it like, how can I build a team, how can I build my business? And I thought about it, I was like, realistically, even though I'm getting stuff out of them, that payment is like, I've employed them, if that makes sense. Like, I'm learning so much out of them, but their job for me is to teach me. I'm paying them to teach me. That's how I see it right now. It's like they are a part of my team. In everyone else's eyes, they would see me as a part of them, but I see them as a part of me. Like, I'm getting shit out of them, if that makes sense. Like, not in a bad way. Yeah, I see them as my first employees, and it's legitimate. So it's cheaper. Like, I think of it that way. If I were to hire someone, I'm paying them less than what I would to hire someone. You know what I mean? And I'm getting so much out of it. It's such an interesting way to look at shit, you know. And this is what's so instead of losing that is my employee. They are helping me get places quicker, do more shit more like efficiently. And